Yo, what's up, guys, and welcome back to the More Than 2% podcast. My name is Nicole Stark, and I'm so glad you're joining us today. I don't know what episode this is. I think it's episode 6. But today I got a guest for y'all. It's none other than Sophia Sanchez. What's up? Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How excited are you?
Oh my gosh.
Be thrilled.
At this very point, I'm really excited,
Okay.
but I'm sure you'll explain
I
why.
am. Okay, so here's a tagline. I know it's a long overdue guest, but it's called Private Conversations in Public. So we're just going to have a conversation with the camera in front of us, this thingy computer over here recording next to me, as if there was no camera recording. So
Right.
the funny part is we don't even talk when we're together. If it's just the two of us, we're constantly on our phones. But you know, we're gonna give you a show today. Okay, Sophia. You know what? Here, let's do this. Let's make you feel a little comfortable, okay? And the best way to make you feel comfortable is you making fun of me.
Oh my gosh.
So
you do know me.
Yes, you do make fun of me often.
I do. Yeah.
We also have this little guy right here, Sophia. Here's the thing with Sophia. She's nervous.
Oh yeah.
So she needed a comforter, so I got you something.
Thank you so much.
I stole it from my sister's room.
Denny, I really hope you're
It's
not watching
yours.
this.
It's a pineapple. Okay, tell people, how did we meet? It's 2022. 2021. I think we're on our 8th year of friendship.
This year.
Right.
Yes.
How did we meet? Go on.
Well, you see, this is actually my favorite story to tell because
She's false. I know what she's gonna say. It's gonna be false.
You know, Nicole hated me.
I didn't hate you. I didn't like somebody else.
Listen.
Who happens to be
our other friend.
Our other friend.
Yeah. I'm sure she's watching this too.
Shout out Maddie.
Hey girl. But yeah, there was just this time of my life when I was 14. I was just going to a new church, and I go in and there's like this like group of people, right? And they're just like chilling and like being friends. Anyways, one of them happened to be Nicole. I don't know how throughout the years it's been.
Side note, she thought I dressed really cool.
Shut up.
Come on.
Okay. I'll tell just for you guys. I'll tell you the truth. She was wearing this.
Kendall
Can't even talk about it. It was a Kendall and Kylie shirt, and I thought you had style. Isn't that crazy?
It's because I do have style. Except my style back then was terrible. I literally wore like a ponytail. And like short shorts and
the
t-shirt.
skinniest jeans known to man.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's true. Okay, so we met through youth group essentially, and then do you remember our first conversation?
I don't.
I don't either.
Do you? I remember we were always in groups. Like it was always in groups, but I feel like as the years went on, the group kind of just got smaller, like really smaller.
Yeah. Which like we started with 20 and we're down to 4.
Yeah. So at this point,
like
I mean,
in
obviously,
our youth group, we have a lot of friends,
but like we know, we
don't
know
really have a lot of friends. Okay, yeah, we do. Okay.
Not you dragging us.
Just we have a lot of people we're around, but from the time that we all met.
Right. And I feel like there's a lot of those people that we still know, but it's just like we don't have the same like relationship we did.
That's
with those
true.
At least I don't.
That's true. I don't
but
either.
Love
actually.
them. Love miss you guys if you're watching this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I mean that's just how it happened, I guess. But I don't really remember our first conversation.
I don't either. I think like the only thing that I remember like when we used to hang out was how much so Maddie is another person that we so loved. Hopefully she gets on this podcast. She would bring a light.
She is but not with me because she's mean. Listen here guys, let's hear me out. Nicole and Maddie together are really mean to me.
No, we're not.
Yeah,
we just need someone to keep you humble.
Right, they're really honest. I guess that's a good thing.
Here's the thing with Sophia. Do you have a friend who doesn't tell you like where they're at in life, like emotionally? They're emotionally distant. So Maddie and I aren't. Okay, we tell Sophia everything. We're like, yo, this is where I'm at emotionally. This is like what's going on with life. Sophia, on the other hand, is like, everything's okay in life, and we just think like,
because listen, most part it is,
but there's no way.
For the most part, listen, I'm talking.
Wrong. I understand.
She's cutting me off, guys. For the most part it is, but the times where I need it, they will pull it out of me and they'll make me talk. Because
you don't just naturally come out.
Listen, because I would naturally rather hear someone else's problems than talk about my own.
Well, that's not healthy.
I know it's not.
You know what we should title this podcast? How to have a healthy life or something like that.
No, but listen, that's why even though you guys are mean to me,
we're not mean.
Even though they're honest with me, I am grateful for them.
We mean it.
Also, Ashlyn, love you too, Ashlyn.
Yes.
But throw that in there.
Ashlyn is, you don't have to Ashlyn doesn't have to pull it out of us.
That's
you just
true.
sit in Ashlyn's car, and all of a sudden,
I love to talk to her.
It just comes out.
Yeah.
Right? Ashlyn's just a natural, she'll just listen.
Right.
Doesn't have to pull it out of you. You
right.
just sit in her car, and it's like,
that's true.
Dude,
I
this
feel like I do
on.
actually tell her
right?
a lot of how
But with me and Maddie, it's we have to fight a bear and a lion and a shark, and then grab the eagle from the sky before you tell us what your problem is. Anyways, that's
good conversations recently.
Maybe we need to go to group therapy.
Maybe, dude. If any of you know a really good therapist, please let us know.
Good Lord. Okay, anyways. So we met at youth group. I have no idea our first conversation. Honestly, that was so. We met in 2013, but I would say going into 2014 was when we really clicked. I remember Valentine's Day. We had this big old group Valentine's thing, which that was probably as far back as I can go to when we actually had a deep conversation in life. Yes. Okay, so going into 8 years, we do a lot of fun stuff as a friend group. Again, it's me, Maddie, Ashlyn, Sophia, Ashlyn, and Maddie. They're not here.
I'm representing all three of us.
I tried to get them. Our schedules are just difficult to
very busy
to
people.
Get to in one room. And it's a miracle if we're all in the same room together. But okay, what would you say is the key to, because everyone always has questions. They'll either come up to me and they'll be how are you and Sophia friends? How does your what's the word I'm looking for? How does your friendship work?
Dynamic.
There you go.
Yes, and we're also very different.
Very.
That's what people ask me. Is how we're friends, because we're literally two polar opposite people.
Yeah. I'm funny.
Oh my god.
No, I'm kidding. I have a tendency to lean on the tomboyish side.
Right.
Athletic, very competitive.
Right.
And you have a tendency to lean on the complete opposite.
Right. I'm very girly, very chill.
Not competitive at all.
No, not one bit.
Not
one bone in my body.
Not one. Which is irritating to me because I like to play games.
Oh my gosh, I hate playing games.
Yeah, and I'm dude, let's play a game. Even if it's rock, paper, scissors, I'm let's play a game. And she's no.
But throughout the years, I've also learned that sometimes I just need to do it. But that's another thing. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
I'm glad this is recorded so I can send this in the chat. Okay, what do you think is the key though, by the way? Going into 8 years, what's the key to longevity in friendship?
I think when it comes to our friends, or more specifically me and you, because I see you a lot, but
a little bit more excited because
I see you a lot. Just kidding. Because okay, wait. So this is what I think. I think you need to be not offendable easily. And listen to me when I say this, because I've had a lot of friends, and I love all my friends, all the friends of people that I've been with, or I've just seen people in their friendships. And I think something that something that happens is you get offended really easily, and then you just drop someone. And I get some people are like that, but I think in general, you have to be just so there for your friends and so loving for your friends that you can't get offended so easily of what they say, because everyone has different opinions and everybody sees things differently. But I think also being really good at communicating. I think our feelings and stuff, it's kind of hard to talk about sometimes, but I think in general in friendship, I think we're pretty decent at communicating with each other, at least since there's 4 of us, it's kind of easier. But I think with me and you, since we are together often, it is pretty easy to communicate whenever things come up or something so I think communicating and just not being so offendable, because it is so easy to get offended. And
have you ever been offended by me? Truthfully, out of the I've never asked this question, but out of the almost 8 years, I
would say there was moments. Oh, this is another thing that we did, me and Nicole in specific. We served at our church together for a whole year, and I think
people. Okay, actually, let's bring that up.
We could.
Let's bring this one up. Okay,
that was an interesting one.
So I work where I work. Okay, so I go to high schools and all this stuff. So I'm leading this particular team, this thing. Right. And Sophia was supposed to go to college.
Oh yeah, that was the whole story.
Right. And I get a phone call from Maddie. I think it was Maddie who called me. Yeah. And she's like,
I was a wreck.
She was crying. And she was like, hey, can you come outside? Me and Sophia need to talk to you, right? And I'm tired, so I think I say no. And you guys were already
I literally was in
our driveway, right?
Yeah, her driveway.
And so I go out, and super long story short, Sophia ends up telling me like, hey, I don't think I'm supposed to go to college. I think I'm supposed to serve with you for a
Literally
year.
the hardest thing I'd ever had to
Right?
say in my
And
life.
I said no 3 times.
Yeah.
I told Sophia, I was like, no, dude.
We're like sitting, I feel like it was like raining. Maybe I'm just being dramatic.
No, I think it was.
Yeah, I feel like it was just like the day woke up and it chose drama. Like, I'm not kidding. It was like raining. We were sitting in the car. Like, Maddie was sitting there and I was like bawling. And
I
Nicole,
was sitting in the back and I was like, what? Like,
Nicole
what are
was
we
probably
doing?
so confused.
Yeah, so she ends up telling me this, like, hey, I need to serve with you, like, on your team, what you're doing.
Right.
And
I think I just said like to help you with like whatever
you
doing.
need.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, for a whole year.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, no, 3 times. Because I told her, I was like, Sophia, I cherish our friendship more than I cherish you being like working with me. Like, I'd rather not, because I didn't know.
As if I wanted to.
Well, yeah, but like, I didn't want the dynamic, our friendship to like to change because we were working together. And so, anyways, people always have that question. How did you,
oh gosh.
like, that's actually a really good question. How did you not kill me?
Oh,
like,
gosh.
how was
this
that like?
This is the thing. I feel like
balance is a bad word though.
No,
but I feel
I'm
like
not
how did
saying
you balance our friendship but then working with me?
Okay,
I'm pretty annoying when it comes to like what I want.
No, you're just like very particular. But I think like so like let me set the scene. We were in like an office space together every like Monday. What was it, like Monday through Thursday, or like Tuesday through Thursday, sometimes Fridays. And so I would like come and you know just like volunteering, helping wherever like Nicole needed help. But I think like there was times where like you would say something and I would just be like, you're wrong. Like that's definitely not true. But like I couldn't like, you know, like I mean I would never yell at you, you know, I'm just so kind.
You have yelled at me.
Okay, but like I couldn't be like as like straightforward like, oh my gosh, you're so dumb. Like I couldn't like, which like I whatever, like there was like certain things which like you would tell your best friend but you wouldn't tell them like while you're like working with them, you know what I mean? Like just different things, or like there was like certain times, but there was, I think we had also good communication in that. But I think on both of our parts, it wasn't just like my part, it wasn't just your part, just to like have like humility.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think humility is key. And like
even when it's hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I feel like you probably did more. And I remember too like always apologizing.
Oh yeah.
I think I apologized to you a lot. In that season.
Well, just because like the roles that we had, just because you were like more in charge and stuff. Yeah. And like.
Well, because so we were I was leading it.
Yeah.
And then Sophia came to really assist.
Yes.
And so I think that was where so many times like. Yeah, that's why I felt like I'd rather not have you do it because I didn't know. It's almost like when you're so comfortable with someone, you can be a lot more aggressive or rude. And I realized on my end, okay, girly, you can't do that because she also has feelings.
Right. So and there was also like many people around too. And people knew we were friends. So I felt like there was always like somebody who was like watching or like, okay, like is she gonna say something, you know what I mean, or like are you gonna like really listen to like what she's saying? But yeah, I think just humility and just like I don't know if anybody out there is ever gonna work with your friend, I think like just like having, and then I think another thing that we did pretty decently was like have friendship time, like where it was like very obviously allotted that we were like friends
and we don't talk about work.
Yeah, we like wouldn't talk about what we were doing during the week, and we would just like I don't know, like hang out with like Maddie and Ashlyn, or like even just the two of us, we'd just like go do something, but it was like very like not about work.
Right.
But yeah.
Which was helpful. And I think too, Sophia hates when she gets complimented, but it's important to know. You are super honoring. Like I don't think most people would respect their friend and their friend's position the way you did. Not that I had any position.
Right. It was just a different.
It was just like
a different role that I had.
Yeah. And so I think like most people would probably walk in and be like, oh, well, that's my best friend, so therefore I can do whatever I want. But you never came in with that attitude. You came with an attitude of honor, which I think is so interesting because most people ask, like, how do you guys work so well together? And I would say a lot of it is because of how you came in. Like, I don't credit myself for anything because I think a lot of the times I feel like I could have done better.
No, I think it was fine. And I think too, just like very much, if you ever want to know anything about me, and my DNA is like I'm very much a little sister, and like I love to do stuff for like anybody else. Like, and all of my friends are actually older siblings that I'm not. But
and you have an older sister.
And I have an older sister. I love her if she's watching this. But yeah, I feel like she has trained me up to always just like I don't know, just be very like, oh yeah, I'll do it. But like I love to do it. Like it's not anything that I'm like, oh my gosh, like I have to like go pick up these papers and print. And there are some points. Let me tell you. If I'm being completely honest, I remember there was this one day where I had to like go to your house and get like this key for like something, and I was like, what in the heck am I doing with my life?
Nicole.
Yeah. But yeah, we've had some really fun times though, and like even in that year, like we got to go. Well, that was before the pandemic, so like when you would like go speak. I mean, I still go with you, but like even when you go speak places, like that was really fun to like do that, and like there was great times.
I think too, like when I think of our friendship now that because that was what 2017, 2018, and now we're going to 2022. Obviously, our dynamic has now shifted. That was just for that particular
season.
year.
Yeah.
And now we're in this place where we actually still serve together, but it's a lot
different.
It's a lot different. And we work together, and it's a lot different.
Yeah.
And I think I always tell people like, y'all should just talk to Sophia because she has all the answers you need on how to be a good person. Like it's so funny. You're so kind. You're so patient. We were at lunch the other day with like, I don't know how many people, like 8 of us when we went to Tom's.
Oh yeah.
It was like 8 of us, and I was telling them, I was like, I'm trying to be a lot more kind, and the whole table got quiet. It was just like, well, I'm trying to.
You are kind.
Well, I'm trying, but Sophia genuinely is just kind.
I feel like you're like a different type of. You're more like caring.
I am caring.
You are very caring, and I feel like people. Like, I mean, honestly, people who don't know you probably think you're like, oh my gosh, like the kindest, most gentlest, like.
I wouldn't say gentle.
But I feel like people who don't know you always think that.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, but I feel like the root of you is like but people need that. Like people need someone who's like strong, but not in like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna
I'm very
tell
forward.
you the truth. Yeah, but I feel like you do it in like a kind way.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah.
But anyways.
Well, it's because I don't want to hurt people's feelings. That's my problem. Is I like care about people.
Right.
That when I hurt people, it like hurts me.
Right. And I feel like also people wouldn't think that.
Yeah. I feel like okay. Let me think here. Which was my next question? Is what do you think people who don't know you or us would like be shocked to know about you?
About me or about you or about
no, you. Like for instance,
about me.
For me, I would say like most people would probably think that I'm like super extroverted,
right?
But I'm so quiet,
right?
Like I talk a lot, but when it's just a smaller
and I feel like people think the opposite of me. I feel like people think that I'm very quiet, but I'm very not.
You're
like
weird.
Yeah, and I feel like
weird.
Oh, girl, everyone knows that. But I feel like. I feel like people don't know that I like talk a lot and like I'm very like outgoing.
There's that one video of you in my room on my couch and you were like sitting upside down. Remember that? And you're like singing.
Yeah, I'm really weird too.
Yeah, and I honestly have it, and if it didn't embarrass you as much, I would let the public see it.
Put it on the Instagram.
But no, that's true.
Yeah, I think that's a thing that people don't know. But yeah, I feel like people also probably think that you're like super like extroverted and crazy and like chatty because like they see you talk a lot, but like you're
like
not.
We get in the car, it's so funny because like we'll be like with like a bunch of people and then we get in the car and it's like we turn the music up and we don't talk. It's like but I feel like we have so many other times, or like we FaceTime a lot. That's what we do. Well, correction,
you call me,
I call you,
but listen,
that's the problem. Okay, no, we're gonna bring this up.
Not this just being like 30 minutes of us like telling all the things.
If I look at like my phone, which is right here, and I swipe up to see who calls most, it's me.
Right.
You don't call me one time.
But there's a reason for that.
I think it's ridiculous, but go ahead.
Okay, I'll tell them. Anyways, since you guys have never heard this before, my reason is that Nicole is always doing something.
Yeah, but like aren't we all?
Oh, I'm not. I'm usually home. I mean, like when I'm not at work. Yeah, but you know when I'm at work.
That's true. I just know your schedule.
And the thing about your work is that you're like always doing random things or like going somewhere, or, like picking up something or like doing something. And with my work, it's very like one time to one time. Yeah. So
she's a hairstylist. Oh yeah, I do
hair.
If you guys need
Sophia Rae XO
hair, she does it. She just graduated. Actually, you didn't just graduate.
I graduated like a year ago. That has been crazy too.
What salon do you work at?
I work at the Nest in Brea.
At Brea.
Bestie Angela, love
Shout
her.
Out.
She's the best. I hope she's watching this. Oh my gosh, hi Angela. Anyways, She would get so excited. I shouted her out. But yeah, no, she's the best. But yeah, now I assist her, so I'm just an assisting queen
and you do
all
my
over
hair,
the world,
which is great.
Oh yeah, I do Nicole's hair far too often.
Yeah, well, it's nice because I like one of my biggest things that I dislike is going to like the hair salon or the nail salon or any salon.
Interesting. This is another thing we differ on.
We do, because I would prefer to not. Like I just like I do it, but I don't like doing it. But I need to do it.
Right.
So
Okay.
So shout out to Sophia who does it. Okay. So to wrap, well, I guess we have like 10 minutes to kind of wrap some things up. Humility.
Oh yeah.
I know, like we went off on this huge tangent. Like it's a year later, we're coming back.
You're really good at bringing it back around, though.
Yeah, I know.
That's another thing about Nicole you might not know.
That's true.
If she's talking about something, like,
I can
literally
talk for like an hour.
No, listen. Like, she'll talk about, like, today I went to the store. And then you'll tell me, like, everything you did and, like, everything you saw. And then you're like, and then actually, and then I was just, and then, like, and then this, and then someone, and then I was, whatever. And then she'll get back to the point, and she's like, and that's what I was doing at the store. Like, an hour later.
I think that's, like, a skill set.
How do you do that? Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I just think because when I talk to people, sometimes like they go on tangents and it bothers me where I'm like, dude, just like, you know how I am. Yeah. Like I'm very like get to the point.
Gosh, that's another thing that's hard about knowing like how you are, because when you're talking sometimes other people are I just like sit there and I like know what you're thinking. Like I know what's going on inside your head.
It's called patience. No, yeah. I am working on patience. In fact, to get on this podcast, we were supposed to film like an hour and a half ago. Yeah. But it took us forever. So we're practicing patience. Okay, so to not be offendable, which I think is honestly really good. Humility. Yeah. I think if you're working with someone to one, respect like each other.
And I feel like
their roles.
Yeah, and I feel like people our age are just so like entitled. But I say that in the kindest way. Because I feel like sometimes we'll go into something like, especially or like how do I say this? I feel like a lot of people like in their workplace or in their thing like think like, oh, like I'm just trying to make it to the top. But I think something that I feel like I learned when I was working with you is just like taking in everything that you're learning, like wherever you are, whether it's at like your job or like whatever you're doing, just to like learn the things that you're learning there instead of trying to like make your way up to the top. You know what I mean? Like instead of like striving, it's kind of just like, this is where I am and like this is the place where I'm like placed right now, and so I'm just gonna like take everything in and learn as much as I can. But yeah, I think that's
really true. And I think too, like every moment, I feel like the both of us and a lot of our the friends we hang out with, one thing that we like see and do in life is whatever we're doing, we see it as the big thing. Right. It's never like, oh, this is a stepping stone to something. Like like we look at whatever it is and we own it as if this is the biggest thing, because to us it really is. Like this is where we're at right now, but never neglecting the small beginnings or the small seasons, but really just saying, right?
Yeah, I feel like especially if you're like 18 right now, I feel like that time of your life is like the craziest. Like you're literally like, okay, I just got
Doesn't it feel like a lifetime ago?
Oh my gosh. I was like 18, 19 when I was serving with you, and like literally the feels craziest like
time. By the way, we're 2 years apart.
Oh yeah, I'm 23.
25.
I'm just kidding.
I am. Someone came up to me. Who was it? They said, wow, you just barely made it. To Gen Z.
Oh my god.
Who was that? Was that Torres?
I heard that. I heard whoever told you that.
And I said thank you. And I barely did. But I feel like I'm both. I like to call myself the ace of spades. Yeah. Like but I don't really consider myself a millennial, because when I hang out with them, it just doesn't work.
I think you've just like been around Gen Z people for the past long time. Yeah. But anyways,
okay. So last thing before we wrap this up, maybe I could convince Sophia to record one more episode where she talks about her love life.
That would be a really short episode.
All things love. Okay, so we talked about not being offendable, humility, all that stuff. Is there like one more thing? A lasting friendship. How did we? Oh, you know what I would say? Maybe we could talk about this. Can you film one more episode? They're only like 30 minutes long. What do you have after this?
Maybe nothing.
Exactly. That's a yes. She'll be back next week, episode 7. It's on air now, and now you can't change your mind. They're gonna like comment.
You're gonna like play it back. They're like, you have to.
They're gonna like comment. She is so mean to her. That's like another thing we get.
Go back to Nicole's vlog where we tried this. snacks. While you guys are here on her YouTube channel, or if you're listening to the podcast, go to whatever your YouTube channel is called.
My shin is so itchy. I don't know if I got bit by it.
And please look up the video of her eating snacks, foreign snacks. And she was so mean to me.
Okay.
Oh, you cut out the mean parts, huh?
No, I didn't. It's
This
like,
is why she's not allowed to edit anything.
If you're gonna sign up for something, you have to do it.
Ashlyn didn't even eat them.
Well, she pretended. That girl.
If you want to know what we're talking about, please go watch the video.
Okay. The last thing I do want to say is this. I think when it comes to a lasting friendship, what we do often is we celebrate each other.
Oh yeah.
And I think like a lot of people probably. Okay. Here's the thing. Girls can be super catty, and our friend group, thank God, I think is so cool. Has just been so epic in terms of they've just been succeeding. Like Maddie got an epic job. Ashlyn's business.
Ashlyn's like killing it. The like picnic.
You're killing it. You finished school. You're doing what you love. I'm doing what I love. And so I think sometimes what can get in the way is when something happens to someone that maybe you're in a particular season.
That's so good.
Where, like, for instance, Sophia could have graduated cosmetology school, and I could have been in a very low season of my life, but not allowing my low season to stop me from actually celebrating her high achievement. So I think something we do often is we celebrate each other really well.
No, yeah, and I think, too, I feel like a lot of... This is the thing. I feel like we are all at this point of our life where, kind of like I was talking about, like, where you are is more important than, like, where you're trying to get. And so I feel like the fact that we, like, celebrate each other, that's really important. But we all, like, recognize that we're in different places. And, like...
That is so true.
And, like,
comparison.
What...
We don't compare.
Comparison. And, like... And I feel like when we were younger, maybe that was more, like, a thing.
Yeah.
But I think, like, as we've gotten older, which, like, if you're young, I think this is a good thing to start practicing, is, like you and your friends are at different places, and so like don't discount yourself because you're not at the same place that they are. That's really because good. Like you're like literally like everyone's so different, and like you're not supposed to be in the same place. Like I'm not supposed to be in the same place as Maddie. Like I'm not supposed to be like working in LA every day, and like I'm not supposed to be speaking outside. You know what I mean? Like there's just things that I know that I'm supposed to do in my life, and like places where I'm supposed to be. Like Ashlyn doesn't look at me and be like, oh my gosh, like I wish I was at a salon like doing hair. You know what I mean? And maybe you and your friends do the same thing, because I also have friends that like also do hair with me, and I think like I think it all comes down to the humility and like not being offended. Because like say my friend Cheyenne, love her, shout out, hope she's watching this. Like say she texts me or Heather and they're like, oh like I just like got this like hair thing and blah 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 whatever. Like obviously I'm gonna be excited for them because I love them, because I care about them, and like I'm not in competition with them. Like I'm not, like I'm just not. You know what I mean? Like we're all in different places. Like so I think like just knowing that like someone else's success doesn't make what you're doing any less.
That's so good. And I think that's something that really is who you are as a person. I think that's really helped me as a person as well, is you're very like confident and secure in who you are and where God has called you to be. Like you've done a really good job at not like looking at someone else's success and wishing you were there.
And then too, there was like places like there was this time in my life where I was in cosmetology school, and then I had just been doing like church stuff, ministry and stuff like that.
The year that almost ruined our friendship. That's true. That is the year.
But yeah, in that year
our friendship almost went.
It was rough. 2020 was a rough year for everyone, but with our friendship in specific. But I went to cosmetology school, so I had to take a step back from like everything that I love to do. But this was also something that I love to do. So I think like just like knowing where you're supposed to be, because if I didn't like know, like with the college thing, if I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to be at college, I probably wouldn't be sitting here with you.
That's true.
Here either. And it's not just about like our friendship, but I think like just in general, like taking time and like stepping back, especially it's about to be the new year. I don't know when this is going on, but
tomorrow.
Like, it's about to be the new year.
We have to actually wrap it up.
But yeah, I think like stepping back and just seeing where you're supposed to be, because that is always really important. Because in that time of my life, if I wasn't where I was supposed to be, things probably would have been even worse.
Our friendship would not be here. We would not be here. Okay, we actually have to wrap it up because the time right here is ticking. So I just told her to record another one. It's coming out next Friday. No. So anyway, so glad that you enjoyed this episode, or at least I hope you did. If you didn't, it's all Sophia's fault.
Oh my gosh.
Because she's here. But if you loved it, it's also because of Sophia, because she's here. Anyways, thank you so much for listening to this podcast or watching it if you're watching it. Don't forget, we got a new episode next week. Alrighty, peace. Bye. See you later.
Yay.
Kill it.